So we're back at CES 2020. I'm here with Jonathan Johnson, CEO of Overstock and Medici Ventures. I've been following you guys for a long time. Why don't you just update us? It's been a year of changes for you guys, right?
Been a lot of changes, but it's still stay the course year. We're still focused on advancing blockchain technology. T0, our crown jewel of our blockchain family of companies, is doing well. It's got a handful of broker-dealers signed up to trade on its blockchain platform. Overstock is working to issue a digital dividend, which will trade on the T0 platform. So, we continue to focus on building that business, which is blockchain meets capital markets. The other companies in the portfolio, each one is progressing. It's pretty exciting.
So I think the thing that I noticed over the years talking to you guys is that every one of these things have been just on the edge of launching, Are we getting to a point where a lot of these things are really going to end up on our phones or in our e-commerce experiences?
Absolutely. So, product and production is the name of the game.
Yep.
And blockchain is still a relatively new technology, and so that's the trick. When I look at one of our companies, Voatz, VOATZ, they've been used in 4 states now: West Virginia, Utah, Colorado, actually 5, Oregon and Washington. And voters are using their Voatz product, their app, to vote digitally and remotely using blockchain technology. Medici Land Governance has titled property on the blockchain in Teton County, Wyoming, down in Tulum, Mexico, in Zambia and Rwanda. Again, product and production. There'll be early adopters who take it, and then it will become more widespread. I think we're in the early adopter stage of product and production, not the widespread, everyone using it stage quite yet.
What does it take to convince a non-early adopter to switch? I guess the question is, you're always going to get the bullseye of the person who wants to use blockchain or wants to use your technology. They understand the benefit of it. What's needed for a mayor in a small town outside of those places that you mentioned? What's needed for somebody who's not quite sure how to implement this stuff into their world?
I think it's understanding that the problems that the technology solves. So, for example, in the voting space, it's overseas voters, it's military personnel and their families, or it's disabled voters where the mayor has to have a costly compliance mechanism to comply with the Americans with Disability Act.
Okay.
Blockchain technologies can do that simply. So when these companies can explain the solution that they're providing, then I think it becomes more readily adoptable.
Does the marketing or does the communication start to move away from blockchain as we get closer to product readiness?
I do think that's important. When I use an app on my phone, I don't know much about whether it's written in Java or how the HTTP protocol works or any of this. I just know that it solves a problem and is usable. I think that's where blockchain will be in the next 2 to 5 years, where we're not talking about blockchain, we're talking about apps that happen to use blockchain and solve problems.
We're here at CES. There's potentially thousands of companies that you could feasibly invest in that aren't blockchain related here. Do you think at some point you're going to be able to walk down maybe Eureka Park and see, oh, this is a hidden blockchain company, we'd be able to invest in them? Do you think that's sort of is the presence of blockchain going to start embedding itself into businesses that you haven't even thought of yet?
Absolutely it will. And frankly, I think a lot of blockchain-focused companies are learning that in marketing themselves, focusing on the blockchain aspect is actually confusing in the sales cycle. Focusing on the solution that their application solves is what needs to be done. So some of the boardrooms that I'm sitting in, we're talk about mobile voting. Don't talk about blockchain voting. It is blockchain enabled, but it's safe, secured mobile voting. Talk about digitized land records. It doesn't matter that they're digitized on the blockchain, it's just that they're easy to transfer, and they can transfer safely and securely. So I do think that's where we're going.
So it's eventually going to hide underneath the surface, and you'll be able to invest in almost anybody here, right?
That's what I would think. Yes, that's what I would hope.
All right, so 2020 is the year of product, right?
2020 is the year of product in production, and I think it's explaining the solutions the products provide.
All right, Jonathan, thank you for joining us.
Great to be with you, John.
Thanks.